but just let me go through some of these points that we're not here to sell shares or give investment advice. What does it say here? This is general information. Michelle normally does this, so I don't do this bit. The NEEW, yes, it's not a registered advisor or broker of anything. Information is generally educational purposes. Any information offered, yep, consider it to be Richard's ideas or my thoughts on things. It's not company backed in any way. The business opportunity, yeah, business opportunities do come with a risk, so be aware of that. And if you look at taking up any of this stuff that we talk about tonight, it's on you. You need to do your own due diligence and be responsible for your actions. And basically, oh yeah, if you're going to do anything and you're not sure about it, make sure you get good professional advice from people who are understanding what the NEEW organisation is all about. What we're just going to start off with really quickly is a couple of people just wanted me to just review the new things that are happening on the exchange. So now, if you look at the exchange, this will be what you see. This is when you want to exchange units for crew points. You will see that there are lots and lots of corresponding or offsetting offers. So there's lots of people that have put up their crew points looking for someone to buy them. But this is what you would look at if you were coming to exchange units for crew points. You would push on that green bar there like we used to do, a little bit different to the way we used to do it under the old system. And believe me, this is mine, I did one today just to check it. When you're buying crew, when you're exchanging money for crew, they will go through in a heartbeat. They go through very, very quickly. And then what will happen is you'll get a little message from support letting you know that you have successfully exchanged some crew points for the units that you've used to buy them. If you're doing it the other way, where you're offering crew for units, it's just a tiny little bit different. The screen will come up like this when you first look at it, and you will need to then click on that green bar, and then this screen will come up. And then this is where you make your allocation of how many crew points you want to put into the exchange to be exchanged for units. This was posted by one of our members in the education group, just to let everybody see that he has actually sold his. He posted this yesterday. He put up crew points for an exchange, and they were sold today. So he's a happy man that that process has kicked off. Now, just a couple of really early tips on the program, just things that I've noticed that I think might be worthwhile knowing is it's a pro rata buying program. So that means there's no savings made for spending a lot of money. Now that may be looked at in the near future to change that, but right now, if you're wanting to buy crew, basically as soon as you save $20, go in and buy them, because you're not going to, there's no advantage in saving up and buying 100 other than you'll just get obviously a bigger parcel of crew, but there's no buying advantage. So you need to be aware of that if you are posting that you want to sell a large number of crew, that as there is no buying advantage, if you put that you've got 10,000 crew up for you want to exchange, you're going to have that probably sit there for quite a while, because you've got to find someone who wants to spend 2,000 units to buy the crew that you've got to exchange. So you may get a better chance of selling by putting more but smaller lot sizes into your the side of where you're wanting to exchange crew for units. And another really important thing with the way that we're doing it now, where it's in lot sizes, first of all, try not to sell any crew at all. But if you do, just sell the absolute minimum that you have to get yourself over the line crew. The crew price is going to go up, and it's going to go up steadily for a very, very, very long time. And if you sell them, and the example here is if you need 800 crew, if you decided that you do have to sell 800 crew, well, just put that in as a 500 and 3 lots of 100, rather than what could be considered more convenient and put in just 1,000. If you don't need to sell your crew, please don't sell them. They are going to become very, very valuable to you in a very short period of time. Another thing which is a little bit different from the old exchange is that your applications expire in 1 day. So don't post something and then forget about it and think that it's just going to sit there until it's actually taken. Now, your unit for crew publishing applications, they will pretty much go instantly. When I did one today, and as soon as I clicked the post button, it was sold. But the crew for unit, that might take a little bit longer to take. But if it takes longer than a day, it will expire and you'll have to repost it. With that in mind, this last little tip is you may want to publish applications, particularly as a crew for unit exchange, over a period of time. If you put 5 in all together, yes, absolutely, if they all go in a row, you'll get your 5 sold. But if they don't move, they all will cancel out together. So it might be an idea to put them in with a few hours in between. So that means you've always got, in a 24-hour period, you've always got 1 or 2 applications in the system, slowly working their way through to be top of the line. Because chronological nature of the acceptances, you're simply in a queue now. So it's just a matter of being aware of that, and just don't make an application and think that, okay, that's in and I don't have to worry about it. I can go look at it in a couple of days and see if it's been taken, because it may cancel out. So that's a very brief little overview of the exchange. It's a very, very straightforward process. It's very simple. I know, well, I submitted a request for them to review the price structure, where they made it a more beneficial price structure. The more money you spent, the better price crew became cheaper, creating a spread through volume of purchasing rather than the way the spread used to be. I don't know whether that will be looked at, but I think it would be a big plus. Tonight, I was trying to think of something that would be a really solid value for everybody. and I'm going to talk about, there was a portfolio fund that was called the Chest. And the Chest is a very, very famous portfolio fund, because in a time when the world was facing horrific adversities, worse than what we're going through at the moment, the Chest was an incredible investment success. And I'm going to look at the Chest, the man who was behind the Chest. You'll, when you see who it is, you'll understand why I'm looking at him. But we're going to look at what he's listed, his investment strategies. We're going to look at them in light of what Andre Harato was doing with the Crew portfolio. And hopefully we'll be able to draw some really close parallels. And so if you're sitting there thinking, how adversely is this pandemic going to affect the Crew portfolio, I think you'll be very pleasantly happy. You'll be happy when you see what was done in history and what's getting done now. My dear, well, not my dear friend, but Mr. Winston Churchill, he made this comment. And what happened in times gone past, they will tell you as part of the disclaimer for financial guidance that what's happened in the past you can't use as an absolute that the same is going to happen in the future. But one of the things that you can do when you look back, you can look at the principles that people used in history, and you can look to see, were they successful or were they not, and then look at, are those principles still being used today? And that's what we're going to look at with the Chest. We're going to look at what they did, and we're going to look at what Andre Harato is doing today, because we can look forward with a great deal of confidence when historically something worked out to be very, very good, and the same principles are being used again today. So the Chest, I'm building this up before I release who it is. The Chest Fund delivered a 13.2% compound return over 18 years. And it did it in a time that corresponded to a period when the United Kingdom stock market delivered a return of minus figures, and the US Dow Jones was returning worse figures. It was possibly the worst time ever to have to manage a portfolio fund, but the management of the Chest was done with flying colours. So, big drum roll here, because who managed the Chest? Well, it was managed by a gentleman called John Maynard Keynes. He ran the Chest. It was his sole discretion on what he chose to take as his investments, and he ran it from 1927 until his death in 1946. And he did it extremely successfully. Now, this is a graph that shows over the period of time when he ran the Chest, just how successful it was. The orange line, as you can see down the bottom, that was what England, the UK stock market ran at in the same period of time. And the grey line at the bottom was the US Dow Jones stock market. They were very, very flat. Now, what's really important, so this is why they talk about the success of the Chest is here, 1929, 1930, that was the Great Depression. So the Chest had to go through the Great Depression, and then over here, this was the Second World War. Over here, so in a period of phenomenal adversity that knocked out the two greatest economies in the world at the time, the UK and the US, the portfolio fund, the Chest, grew and grew and expanded to amazing heights. And we're going to look at some of the things that John Maynard Keynes took his holdings in, which were mining, recovery stocks. And as we go through some of these things, it's just a matter of thinking about what Andre Harato is now looking at and what he's looking at, where he's directing the company. And you'll see incredible parallels in the thinking of these two particular people. So mining was a really big stock, and recovery stocks, he got very much into, as liquid asset stocks began to recover, he got into them very, very, very solidly. He also, in a time when most financial institutions were very much locked into bonds, he chose to get involved in equity partnerships. And this, he took very strong positions in these, which again is dramatically similar to what Andre Harato is doing. Now, he actually wrote down for posterity, and it's great because we get to look at what he did, his three main things that he was looking at when he was investing. And again, we're just going to go through these and step by step, and again just look at what's getting done for us today to just give us a sense of encouragement and a sense of stability that the person who's looking after our portfolio fund is doing it in a way that historically has proved to be very, very successful. And the first thing he did was he carefully selected investments in regard to their cheapness, but in the cheapness in relation to their probable and actual intrinsic value over years to come. Now, we're looking at that right now. What we're looking at in this graph here is obviously our stock markets and our markets all over the world are very, very, very flat. But in a couple of slides' time, you'll see how the company is very, very well cashed up. And Andre Harato talked in a webinar recently about he's going to restructure our liquid asset portfolio segment to bring it up to a 30% of the overall value of invested funds. Now, at the moment, well, actually go back a step. He ideally wanted to hold that at between 20 to 22%. But, and even as Keynes talks about, the value of having a liquid asset, that if you have to make equity payments and you're cash short, you can sell liquid assets to make equity payments, which is what the CREW portfolio has done to a degree that the CREW portfolio liquid asset segment is about 1.3% at the moment. And that's where our profit bonuses are coming from, and at the moment, where they're not coming from, because it just isn't a big enough segment of our portfolio to be producing. Whilst it does produce a profit, it isn't big enough to warrant splitting up as a payment. But he's looking to lift that to a 30% segment of our portfolio. Now he's wanting, and what he's instructing the brokers, that he's wanting that segment to return a 6% return, which will give the overall fund a 2% return in real terms. So he's very much aware of this number one principle that certainly John Keynes worked by, and it's just good to know that right now there is no value in buying stocks and shares right now. We're cashed up, we're poised, ready to go. But Andre Harato is fully aware of what's needed to be done lift this section to start producing the revenues and the returns that are needed. Now, the second thing that he looked at was a steadfast holding in very large units in things that he believed in. And we know that Andre Harato does this. And if we look at these things here, a lot of the equity partnerships that we have, they're not just token investments in a lot of things. He's taken some very big positions, 50%, some case 100%, but very large positions in a few areas that he feels are very, very strong. And we all know that his intention is to hang on to these for many, many years, which is, again, a very proven track record of a way to manage an investment fund, particularly in one that's going through very, very adverse circumstances. Now, while I've got this screen up, if you have a look at this balanced fund, we look at that, the $6.8 million, which is basically money sitting in the bank, which is 10% of the overall amount of what we've actually invested. We've invested 60 million, and 6 million of it is sitting right now, ready to pay equity payments that need to be paid as soon as borders can open up and equipment can move across borders. But also, and this was from last month's figures, so it'll be even better this month, but that's where the purchase of these liquid assets is going to come from. And then we go back to the third thing that he looked at that helped the chest survive the rigours of the Great Depression and the Second World War, that he took large holdings in what would be considered opposing risks. And Andre Harato's done the same thing. We have a large staking in gold, and the offsetting is a large staking in resorts and things like that. Now, if what happens in those situations, if as the economy grows and things become better, then the gold segment will actually drop back. It'll never drop back to anything like it was before the pandemic. It will drop somewhat. But these resort sectors, which are large, they will pick up. The diamond, the buying and the movement of precious stones and precious metals and things like that, they all go up as an offset. So there's a complete balance, but the balance is not only just in size, but it's a balance in opposing risk. And you can see that again, that this is the valuation of our fund, that the percentages there are very, very consistent. It's a very, very balanced, but they're things that are definitely, you've got the transportation on one end and you've got this massive area of equity participation, that these things will offset each other as if ever there is dysfunction like it's going on with this pandemic in the world. Our funds aren't losing their value because as one thing does drop down, another side does pick up. And it's very reassuring, certainly is for me, to know that that's sort of the effect that occurs. Now, just going back again over this thing that happened with the chest, but something really interesting here is that the chest got that 13.2% compounding growth. As in the same time period, the British stock market fell 15%, but there was no reinvestment. Keynes didn't do reinvestment in his fund. He used to take the entirety of the fund and spend it while it was It was the fund was created to fund members and fellows at the King's College, Cambridge. And he never used to reinvest. He used to take the entire amount of that fund. But the other aspects of the way he did it, which are the same things that Andre Harato is doing, still produced that massive compounding effect for the 18 years that he ran it up until his death. Another similarity was that, that it wasn't all smooth sailing. John Maynard Keynes was a bankrupt at one stage, and so has Andre Harato. They have learned very, very similar lessons. And one of the things that Keynes talks about, and it's something that Andre Harato does now. I know it's something I do. A lot of my time is spent reading up a lot on what Warren Buffett does too. And he looks at these things. And one of the things that was done, and Andre Harato does it very, very successfully, is he invests, and all these three gentlemen did, he invests in areas of the market that he knows something about. And that's one of the things that what drove John Maynard Keynes ended up going broke. He realised that he was investing in things, that he was reading things in the newspaper, and he was reading reports given by businessmen on what was going on, and he was following their advice, and he went broke doing it. And what he realised is that you are better to invest in things that you know about and invest in companies where the management, you know about the management of the company. Now, we know in talking, in listening to, I've never spoken with Andre Harato, but I've certainly listened to him, that he is a multidisciplinary investor. He has a very good working knowledge of many sections of the market, which make it very easy for him to be able to assess an opportunity when he sees it. And in the big ticket items of you look at things like the Sushi Master and the Basalt and this diamonds and these major things that he's investing in, he's very well acquainted with the management of these companies. And this seems to be another trick that these three gentlemen are very, very successful in doing, is being able to pick segments to invest in, and also companies within those segments to invest in. So I would just have a look at this with an overview. I was going through this. Where does some of the things that Andre Harato has in common with these great investors is that, and we go through, and some of them are unique to him, which makes what he's doing with our portfolio fund, to me, extremely exciting and very, very reassuring. And we just went through one of them just before, that he has a personal knowledge of the people that he invests with. And that's all of these people will acknowledge that it's very important. He also, a mark of I think, a really great person, is that he acknowledges when there's a mistake made. He acknowledges it, but he moves on. And this is something that I get a feeling when you read in chat groups and you read to a lot of people, and particularly with a lot of people from India, that this moving on is very difficult for some people to do. And as this presentation is probably more specifically, I've tried to create it a little more for Indians, I really got to try and encourage people to move on. You still hear in chat groups about October last year. It's coming up, what is it, 9 months or 8 months, and yet people are still stuck, and they're just mentally stuck. and you have to get over that and come join the movement, because the movement has moved on from what happened in October. One of the things that Andre does too is he reinvests in his earnings into the fund. We know that 40% of all the money that is raised from sales goes into the fund. We know the VIP club is another form of reinvesting into the fund. And we know that Andre Harato is continually putting money back into the fund, and reinvesting funds is a really important way of raising funds, because it's compounding your returns. And we're going to talk about compounding in just a little while. Andre Harato also, and I think this is a really important aspect of what he's doing, is he uses the power of multi-level crowd investing. He knows that the fund is going to take time to get traction and start to develop. When you're investing in equity investments, those things take years to start producing significant results. There's nothing you can do. We look at our gold valuations of whatever they are, 250 million, but that's gold that's still in the ground. It's going to take us probably the next 20 years to be digging that out and selling it and receiving the benefit from it. It's not going to be there next week or next month or even next year. It's going to take time to get these returns rolling and to make them valued, to make them significant. But what he's done is, by introducing this multi-level crowd investing aspect, for those that want money now, there is the opportunity to go out and get it. There's some great opportunities for people right now to make a very, very large sum of money while the fund is getting traction and getting the momentum to move forward. So that's a really big plus for what Andre's doing to help us with our returns on our portfolio fund. We talked about it just before, that his view is long-term. He's not looking necessarily in the equity investments for short-term, but we know that he's not ignoring the need to produce a result in necessarily faster than what a completely equity fund would do. And that's why he's increasing to 30% the liquid asset component of the portfolio fund. He has the internet and social media to work for him, which is something that John Maynard Keynes, if you read his story, he would spend time every morning. He would read the financial papers. He would make his decisions, get on the phone, do whatever he needed to do to make the calls to make his business decisions happen. But Andre Harato, just by carrying his phone in his back pocket, has got the capacity to access and reach a world so much faster and with so much more power than what the John Maynard Keynes had when he was running the chest. We also have worldwide investments, and they're beginning to you can see them as you go through those end-of-month webinars, that there's more and more areas of the world that Andre Harato is looking to invest in. John Maynard Keynes had the British Commonwealth to invest in, which was still a very large segment of the population, but Andre Harato has more at his disposal than what the people running the chest did. He's also got 1.4 million people potentially supporting him and backing him. We know that there are a lot of people who have put money into the new economic evolution of the world, and they're just sitting back and they're waiting for the returns to come. And that's, if that's what you want to do, he's not going to say you can't do that, but he still has a lot more people backing him and supporting him and helping him in what he's doing than what John Maynard Keynes had. And then the last thing, and if you saw or were part of that webinar on the weekend with digital doubles, my goodness, I have listened to that webinar now probably 4 times now. I've listened to it. That is scary stuff. That is, and not scary as in spooks and goblins and, you know, I'm all timid and shy, but daunting, scary as in daunting. The power that's in those digital doubles. If people doubted that there was the potential for 10 million people by the end of this year, then come to, not tomorrow, but next week, next Wednesday, Michelle and I are going to do a webinar on AI and artificial intelligence. We're going to do a little bit of an in-depth look at these digital doubles that are going to be helping us build a business. But wow, that is really powerful stuff. So Andre Hirato has got a tremendous arsenal of things at his disposal to help him achieve even a greater result than what John Maynard Keynes had. But one of the things that they both understand is this thing about compounding. Now, Einstein talks about compounding interest is that if you understand it, you'll earn it, and if you don't understand it, you'll pay it. And that's an absolute truth, and that's where I'm really thankful that Andre Hirato looks for this reinvestment opportunities, because reinvestment is a form of compounding. And Charlie Munger, the bloke down the bottom, he's Warren Buffett's partner, and he talks about compounding interest, and he adds a little bit to it, which is very important for us when we're getting the opportunity now to stake some crew. And I don't know how long staking. They tell me that it's a short-term thing, that it will wind up at some stage. Excuse me. But Charlie Munger makes the point that understanding both the power of compound interest and the difficulty of getting it. And that's the critical bit that I want to just dwell on just a minute with Charlie Munger, is we get accrued interest off our staking. So what that means is that we stake for 24 months and we're going to get paid 2.5% paid in crew each month. Now, you talk to a lot of people and they're planning to spend that money, and that's fine. You do with it what you like. But if you can invest a small portion of that back into staking, you are in essence compounding your money. The company isn't doing it as a specific thing, taking the interest that they pay you and automatically reinvesting it for you. But in paying it to you each month, it gives us the chance to create a form of compounding by reinvesting the money that we've made. So in the short term that staking is around, if it's possible, and only if it's possible, just try as much as you can to reinvest some of that money. It doesn't necessarily have to be in staking, but go and buy something that is asset producing. Don't just spend it all if it's at all possible. Because like Charlie Munger says, that the difficulty in getting it is something that we just need to really focus on and appreciate, that if we can build an income stream from networking and from multi-level crowd investing, where the money that we're earning from what we're investing in staking, we can not use, we can reinvest it either back into staking if that's what's easy for you, or invest it into one of the things that Warren Buffett talks about investing in, and I'm certainly going to be doing it with my staking returns, is look for businesses in the country that you're from, stable businesses, businesses that have been around for a good long period of time, that are offering a good return, and maybe take the, when you sell your crew, take that money and go buy shares in those businesses and spread some of your income streams out and be pulling in greater income streams from other businesses. I know Armand's talked about it a little while ago, that he's got something like 170 different income streams. And they're all, that's a great way. That's taking what Charlie Munger is talking about here, about the difficulty of getting it. It's actually appreciating that difficulty. So when you do get it, you make it worthwhile, make it do something profitable for you. One of the things that all of these guys have in common, and I think some of us don't have it to the same degree, is the understanding that time is more powerful than money. It's not a matter of throwing thousands of dollars into something. It's a matter of putting thousands of hours into something. And if we can put hours and time into this portfolio, let it develop, give Andre Harato the time to do what he needs to do, the result is going to be astronomical. And so we need our own investments. We need to, when we do what I said about investing your staking returns, look for ways in our jobs that we're doing, or in multi-level crowd investing, look for ways that we can find an income to give these investments time to compound and grow and become very, very significant for us. We get asked a lot, and this is something, again, and it's about questions, because questions identify a mindset. We're just about to wrap this up now. Sometimes we get asked, I get asked by people the wrong question. I think it's the wrong question. I'll get asked by people, oh, when are we going to get a dividend and how much is it going to be? And the question should probably be more, what does the company have to achieve to get a dividend? What has to be done? Because in asking the right question, asking the correct question, it gives us a correct mindset, that our depth of understanding is getting greater. And that's what this whole education thing that the company is all about, this financial literacy, is helping us, give us the education so we can ask better questions. And as we ask better questions, we're only asking them because our level of understanding has gone from very, very basic, and we're starting to have a greater depth of understanding in what's going on with the portfolio, what's going on with the company, why are we so involved in the many different things that the company is doing. You know, there's a lot of people will say, gee, when are we going to actually get a return on some of the things that have been done? Well, we're all of those questions are actually answered in webinars nearly every end of every month. We all actually know why basalt is where it is. We know why gold is where it is. We know that we've got a ton of gold sitting in Ghana somewhere and sitting in Tanzania. Hopefully it's well and truly locked up and safe, but it just can't get to Dubai, which is where it's got to get to be sold. Now, we actually know that, we're told that, and yet we're still often asking that question. And really, we shouldn't be asking that question anymore. You know, we need to be asking better questions, because a better question means that we're taking this education that is giving, that is out there for us to use, and we're actually doing something with it, and it's actually making a big difference to us. It's making a difference to the way that we think. It's making a difference to the way we look at the problems that the company is facing today. And what and I'm sort of going to wrap up, this is my last slide. What I've hoped is, in showing what happened with the chest in a time when the world was in a worse state than what it's in now. The Great Depression, followed by the build-up then into the Second World War. Things were a lot worse than what they are right now, and yet with really clever guidance and clever understanding and very astute investing, John Maynard Keynes produced a result in the chest that was way better than what the British and the US business minds were able to produce. And if you look at the decisions that he made, I believe sincerely that Andre Harato is paralleling those decisions. Sure, he's doing it in a more modern way, but the basic concepts and the precepts of what the chest was built on, and what gave the chest enormous results in a very, very adverse circumstance, are being done here right now with our crew program. So, Michael, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and hand it back to you, and we can open the floor up for questions.
Yes, sir. Very nice presentation from your side. So we can't expect this type of information, very informative today. Thank you very much, Richard. Everyone is enjoying now. Okay, we enjoyed everything. Okay. Okay, thank you. So participants, if you feel very nice, you can put the rating for Richard starting from 10 to 1. So this is your rating. Okay. Yes. Okay, everyone enjoyed. Yasinta, Anni ma'am, Salam, Jnanadas, Sarguna Veni, everyone, thank you. Philip Fawaz, Alagason, Rizwan from India. Everyone enjoyed the session. Sandanam sir, excellent presentation. Rizwan, okay, thank you, Richard sir. Today, Bhaskar sir from India, Govind sir from Malaysia. Everyone, Raghuraman from India. Okay, thank you, participants, everyone. So, without your support, this webinar will not be. Okay, Richard sir is very happy because Govind sir connected Richard sir and myself also. So, we will start a combination in India so that we will be presenting again seminars. Okay, so it's a global thing. Okay, no issue. Raising hand, people. Okay, I will unmute. 1 second. Jnanadas.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sorry, sir. Unfortunately, I joined lately. I couldn't get the, but I saw that there was a caption determining the question for 55 minutes. So I was attracted. It's like sharpening the sharp before cutting the tree. So can you summarize your whole speech in 1 minute so that I can understand what you are wanted to tell us? Because unfortunately, because I was.
Yeah, I think, did you record this?
Yes, yes,
Is
recording
this-
is there. Recording is there. I will put in our education that group, educational group. Recording is available.
Okay. I mean, basically, in a really overview, there was a fund set up in the 1930s and through the Second World War that was called the Chest. It was a very, very successful investment portfolio, and I just went through looking at the strategies that they used to make that fund successful, and how Andre Harato is doing he's following the same principles as what was done by the people that managed the Chest, to just try and let people see the parallel, and to give the confidence that Andre Harato is right on his game. That historically we can see that what he's doing works, but it takes time, and that we need to give him that time, and not give him so much grief.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
That's the overview.
Thank you. And then Shariguna. Shariguna Veni. You can unmute. So this is open. You can unmute. Shariguna Veni. You cannot
unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah, you can unmute. Okay.
Okay, did I do such a good job there's no questions? Oh, go me.
Sarguna, you are unmuted. Sarguna Veni, you can speak.
Thank you, sir. It was very good.
Okay. You can introduce yourself. You can introduce yourself. Where are you from and which country? And then
India, Karnataka, Bangalore.
Yes. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome. Any question to Richard, sir?
Not right now, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks for your gratitude. Thank you. And then Ravi Naidu, you can unmute.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Richard sir, நல்லா பண்ணிருக்காங்க sir. Hello.
You can.
Congrats, Richard sir.
You can speak in English. No problem.
Richard sir, super sir. Super brilliant sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I am translating what he is telling. Ravi Naidu, he is from Andhra Pradesh, one of the neighborhood state in our India. And what he is telling, Richard sir, today's performance is very nice, and he enjoyed very good. Okay, that's why he is telling very nice program. Yes, thank you, Ravi Naidu sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We will do best. No issue. And then any other person, if you want to talk, there is a mute is with you. I am not controlling anything. Mute is with you. You can.
Yes.
You can ask.
I have a question. I have a question to Richardson's son. Myself, Ishwar. I'm from Bangalore.
Yes. Welcome. Most welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Richardson. Good evening from India.
Okay.
So, is there any chances to CRU price will going to increase by this month or this month end? Any other chances?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What was?
I'm telling what he is asking. So he's from your name, sir. He's from Bangalore. I got
right. Right.
Your name, sir?
Sure. Myself, Ishwar.
Ishwar from Bangalore. What he is asking? So within this June end, is there any price hike in CRU points? That is his question.
Okay. Yeah. No, there will be. what it is, I mean, I've got my chart here, which tells me what charts go by stages more than months. I've got a chart here that loosely lines up stages to months, but the company moves forward when stages are completed more than following chronological time for months. So my chart here that I'm looking at here right now tells me that at the end of May, stage 2 was supposed to have ended. But stage 2 will end principally when the membership is at a certain level and the income has been generated to a certain level. Now, what that is, I'm not privy to know. I don't find that out. We will know. We've got a rough idea. I know that on my chart here that we needed 1.35 million people to complete stage 2. Now, we had that going in to stage 2. So we already had the membership that we needed. We just didn't have the money. Now, I don't know how much money this month generated. I look at the numbers of sales that were made on Golden Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and my goodness, that was staggering amount of sales that seemed to be made through those 3 days. So I don't know whether that has impacted the stage 2 figures that they can start looking at closing stage 2. But the stages, whilst they're loosely connected to months, they are not absolutely connected to months. What is very interesting when you look at the months is activity. Now, we talked about one time before that in the month of June, something significant was going to happen in the month of June because the price of crude went up it goes up 1.5 times, which it doesn't do it any other month. The number of members goes from 2.5 million to 3 million, so there's only an increase of 500,000 people. But in the month of June, this chart shows that we also go through stage 3 and 4 in the month of June. So what is going to happen in the month of June, I believe now to be the digital doubles. I think that's where they've factored in what is going to create this slowness in, there's only 500,000 people needed to be produced in the month of June. Well, we know that if we follow what the man was saying on Saturday night, that about the 15th of this month, these questionnaire things are going to come out. And next week in the education group webinar, we're going to talk about those questionnaires and why those questionnaires are so important, that if you're going to participate in this program, to fill them out correctly and honestly. But there is something very, very significant. Now, the opening of the external exchange still officially is the end of this month. I've heard, I asked Andrew Hawkes in his last week's question and answer session, was that still on the go, because I'd heard unofficially that it wasn't. And I got quite a stinging answer back, that the reason why the company wants to close down so many unofficial chat groups is there's so much rubbish gets put into those groups that people then start to believe. So officially, we're still going to the external exchange at the end of this month. Now, is that going to change this coming Saturday when Maria gives us an update on the blockchain? I don't know. But June, of all of the months when I've got my chart here right next to me, I'm looking at it right now. Of all the months of this 2020, June was the month that something very significant occurs in it. So I think absolutely, gee, tell you what, that's a big long answer to a short question, wasn't it? That guy actually, the answer to your question was actually yes, by the way. But I managed to make it last 10 minutes, you know, but crude price will definitely go up in the month of June. Don't worry about that. It will. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, Richard, sir, for your explanation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Not only you, everyone will got it. That is June month. It is very peculiar, and there is more expectation. Why? Because our digital double is going to launch by June 15, according to our company, and also our membership. That is almost we are 1.5 million now. I hope so. So that 1.5 million has to go up to 2.5 million. Okay. If it is possible, we will get more price in our CRU. That is nothing that about that. But we have to go through our MLCA. What is the case? You know, everyone has to give six people. That's all. At the till the end, till this year end, everyone, who are the people now? You see, 1.5 million into 6. How much? It is about 9.5 million. No, 1.5 into 6. That is 6. 6 paisa 30. That is 9 million or approximate. So what about everyone has to do minimum 6 people? Minimum 6 people in the in lifetime till this year 2020. So then, according to our AK statement and Horatov statement, it is possible by 10 million. Correct? So then our price will be CRU price. Maybe it reach up to $10 to $40. This is our AK star statement. So it is possible by everyone. Okay, responsible is everyone. Okay. Any other person, sir?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Richard and Govind, sir, and also the other international leaders who are participating here in our webinar.
Okay.
Good evening. Actually, in this chat, I have put Richard's YouTube channel link.
Okay.
So our people, please go make a copy of that, and you can watch a lot of videos from Richard in his YouTube channel. Lot of very depth information, knowledges about the finance and investment and everything. It's in a different, really, it's in a different perception. Whatever he is giving is a different perception with his experience and with his understanding. Really, it's good. It's mind-boggling, and we can also try to give this kind of presentation, very simple and sweet presentation, and just passing the message in people's heart or in brain directly. What is CRU and how the compounding will impact, and what is the benefit. Finally, the thing is that what is the benefit the person is going to get.
Yes.
That is very much important, and in this presentation, he has shown what is the importance of the compounding and other the investment, how our CEO is doing all these things. So it is really is comparing with the ancestors, the people who lived 30, 40 years back and something like that. It is very genius, and we can understand how this organization is growing. As he told, we have to give time, or we have to be patient. We have to allow the CEO to CEO Henry has to do whatever he thinks. If we go and pressurize him, see, people are asking they are in the short-term mindset. What is the price in August?
Speculative mind.
That is speculative. Yes, actually, it is in the financial terminology. It is speculative mind.
Yes.
Definitely, he cannot do, and we cannot expect any reply from him. I have noticed that in some interviews, in some seminars, people continuously asking this kind of silly questions, and he never turned up for the questions.
Yes.
He never answered that question because he simply passed on that question and went to the next one.
Yes.
So we should be very patient and we should allow him to do whatever he thinks and whatever the knowledge he is ready to implement in our project. So we have to be patient and we have to go with it.
Yes.
So that is the main thing. Really, Richard has told like the same thing. We have to give humble time for him to do all these things.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Richard sir, for your wisdom.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sandanam, sir. So, what is the conclusion
Yeah.
you have done now? So, the investors must be very, very investive. That is, investment thinking should be very nice. It should be fixed. It should be fixed with the company's mind. So, company's mind and also our investors' mind should be same. Should be matched. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, otherwise, you will be frustrated. You will be frustrated. One second. Or otherwise you will be frustrated. Okay, investor's mind will be frustrated. Then at that time he or she will be getting worried. Okay, so if we allow our case as it is, because what he is telling, so that is the investor should not be speculative. Instantly nothing will come. So we have to be patient and wait for some time. So he asked the time 36 months. Why he is asking the time of 36 months? So from first month, 1% only unblocking. For the next 6 months, 1.5% CRE points are unblocking. It will continue up to 36 months. So what about? So we have to be very patient at least that 36 months in the company. So if it happens, so automatically our company will be grown according to our vision and mission. That is my self conclusion. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any other, sir? Go in, sir. You can also.
Yeah. Hi, Ravi.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Richard. Good evening.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I just had a short interruption in my network, internet. I think I know I'm going back to the previous. I'm going to the previous question by one of the members who called from Bangalore, Mr. Ishwar, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, he was asking about the price hike. Then would I be wrong to say that in this week, just in a week, there was a price increase? Am I right, Mr. Richard?
I don't think there was a price alteration when the exchange changed structure. We no longer have a spread anymore. So the intrinsic value of the coin was 20 cents, which is now what its buying price was. But because we had a spread that allowed you to trade it from 25 cents, I think, to 19 cents, it gave a different sort of feel to what it was, the price was. But we're now trading at the intrinsic value, which is 20 cents. So now we're only going to have, if they keep the price structure the way that they're doing it, we will only have one price.
Yes.
So it'll be easier to monitor as it goes up. But I think they may look at changing that around again, because it doesn't encourage people to buy large sums, invest large unit sizes. Someone who's investing like 1,000 units may want to get a better buying price than someone who's investing 100 units. And so the company still, there's a little bit of tweaking still needs to be done to just create an incentive for people to buy large sums of crew, and the incentive will be that you buy them at a cheaper price. So there'll be a little bit of tweaking yet to come, but where the exchange is going to dramatically change is when we get more buyers. We've still got a huge imbalance even though we do it in chronological order, we still have way more sellers than what we have buyers. Now, one of the things that's going to change that is that if you have a look at next month, when we go to the next stage, I mean, the price of crew in an EIP, what they give, and I think it's next month. I don't have the figure right here, but I was working out before that the price that you can buy your crew on the exchange and the price that you get gifted crew in an EIP are going to be almost exactly the same.
Yes.
So the question becomes, why would you buy them in an EIP if you have to wait 350 days to get any value from them, when for the same amount of money you can go on the exchange and you can buy them and start staking them or doing other things with them straight away? Once that parity is reached, where what you're buying in it, what you're gifted in an EIP is the same as what you're going to get by buying them straight on the exchange, all of a sudden you're going to find a lot more people buying on the exchange. Because if you buy an EIP now that has gifted CRU in it, the probability is staking is going to be finished by the time your 350 days, your maturing time is reached. So people buying an EIP now, they're not going to be able to stake. You wouldn't want to tell anybody buying an EIP now that they have the potential, the opportunity to stake them. So if somebody has got money that they're wanting to spend and get a return on it straight away, they have got to go to the exchange now and buy from the exchange, which will bring more buyers to the exchange, which then makes the exchange work more efficiently, and people will be more relaxed with the use of the exchange.
Yes.
So I don't even know if there was a question in that, but that was a lovely answer.
Yes, sir. We hope. We hope
Thank you, Mr. Richard.
it will
Yeah.
change. More people will start with the exchange. We hope so. So, but in our team meetings also, we started recommending so that minimum 30 to 40% of your investment may be in internal exchange. The remaining 50 to 60% may be in through EAPS. So that's why our recommendation, because people must be very familiar in using both the type. Okay.
Yep.
So
yeah, well, people have got to still buy an EIP of some description.
yes.
You just can't come in and go straight on the exchange. When we go to the external exchange, yep, people will be able to buy crew without having to buy anything else. But right now, to get access to the internal exchange, you still have to buy an EIP of some description.
Yes. 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 Okay. Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Any other things from any other people? There is a question.
Yes, Anne. I think Anne asked the question,
Yes.
would I suggest staking all of my unblocked crew? Well, I have, and I will. I had a unique situation where I had done my maths at the beginning of the year, and to fund my early retirement, I needed to sell 60,000 crew. That's what I needed. I'd sort of worked out. So I had bought 60,000 crew at the end of last year to replace what I was going to spend. So I have some that I'm still spending, but any crew that wasn't part of my budgeting for early retirement, I will stake that for the 2 years. And the reason why I'll stake it for the 2 years is that 2 years is done on a smart contract. So it's locked in, that's mine for 2 years. So what where the company travels in the meantime with all of its, utility coins coming onto the market and with digital doubles and all the rest of what's going to happen is just going to be huge. But I know that as I stake my my crew for that 2 years, it's going to earn money now because I'm seeing myself probably more as an investor in the company than a network marketer. I'm not really good on the network marketing side of things. It doesn't crank my tractor like it does some other people. I've actually done my charts right through to the year 2028. I can tell you any given month between now until 2028, what I believe the price of crew will be. There's a formula that you can use to if you know how to invest, there's a formula you use to create it. So I can, if you said, what's March 2025 going to be? I can tell you what I think it's going to be in price. And that's where I've done my strategies in my forward planning. So that's why I'm going to stake for 2 years, because I have a very good idea of what that crew is going to return me. If I've staked and I'm getting 750 crew every month, I know what that's going to give me every month for the next 2 years, and I'm confident in what I've calculated that those figures will be pretty true. In fact, with what that man was telling us about last week, Saturday, I think my figures are now under. I think I've gone very conservative. I'm going to end up being conservative because I did some calculating, and we're going to go through the calculations next Wednesday on this artificial intelligence that we're going to go through. That these numbers are absolutely daunting. What can be produced by these machines? It's absolutely, it really is phenomenal. And if anybody's thinking about getting involved in that, it's a pretty low cost to get involved in it. But gee, it's huge. Really is.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question, Anne. Again, a big long answer.
Yeah. I need to be taught some maths, I think.
Yeah. I think Anne was asking whether she could retire early.
Yeah, well, Anne and we're going on this cruise in this red convertible of hers all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise, Richard and Anne, you know.
But
this is when I've made all my money.
Yeah. No, I mean, for those who are, I mean, the age is catching up. I think we could, put on staking at least for 75% of your crew, and 35% you can put on sales for, to enjoy your life. You can put for sale. Yeah. I don't prefer to put the whole 100% of my CRU into staking. I mean, whatever the staking is giving a return, it is going to give you a return every month. So you can sell that off. Whatever return, you can sell it off, but your capital is still there. Whatever you have staked, it is still there. You're only spending the money that they're giving back. You can sell them and make some money for yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, for those who are young, they prefer to keep it for a longer period. They can gain better.
Yeah, and when I get my Botox treatments done, I'll even look young.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait. I'm already 70 now. I can't wait. I don't know how many more good years I have. So I rather see something positive happening. Good, Richard. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Any other person? So by now we came to the end. I hope so. We started at 5:30. Now 6:55. We are nearing 1.5 hours exactly. So any other question? Gopi sir, welcome.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, all leaders.
Good evening.
Richard, sir, good evening, sir.
Hi.
Hi, sir. Hello. Sir, whenever you are joining in our CRU Tamil Power team, at the time we are getting excitement. Also, we are getting more and more experienced your informations. So whenever you are speaking with us at the time, we want to do more this business. That much of knowledge you are giving. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much. I want to ask one simple, one small question. My request for you. Are you conducting any this kind of meeting in your country, sir, like our Ravi Kumar sir doing here, no?
Yes, yes, they are doing, sir. They are regularly doing.
Oh, shall we join in your meeting?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, we get in our meetings. We get people from all over the world join our meetings.
So yes, as like we do, sir, Gopi sir. Sir is also very open, and anyone can join. So he is giving in English. I will add you in that group. I will add you in that group. You
kindly add in that group, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. I will give his group, educational group, invitation to all our WhatsApp group. You please join and get many more international leaders speak and their views, thinking, speeches, everything. You can get it. No problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Richard, sir. Thank you, Richard, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any other person, sir? Any other? Not only here, so across the world, universe, some several country peoples are there. So you can also. So today we are very, very lucky. So this is the 2nd June actually. This is the second day. Actually, we did first day. Regularly we are doing. Daily meetings are there in our country. Daily different languages. So I can say the languages for you. On the first day, Sunday. Sunday is the first day for us. That is Sunday is Telugu. We can call this as a Telugu language. And for Monday, Tamil language. And then for Tuesday, English, and then for Wednesday, Malayalam, and then for Thursday, we are having Kannada, and then for Friday, again we are having English session. For Saturday, we are having Tamil session, and again the week is closed. So in 7 days, we are regularly conducting the meeting from 5:30 to 7. So you people most invited. We also come. So this is like our new community. We'll do, sir. Any other, sir? Any other question from others? Okay. Let me finish now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So we will put the recording in our educational group.
Good night.
In everywhere.
Actually, for our people, I just want to mention one thing.
Okay.
I hope that Australia is in the time zone. It is ahead of 5 hours or 4 hours, 4.5 hours from IST.
Now this is 11:30 p.m.
11:30.
11:30 p.m. now. Yes.
So 4.5 hours ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Richard sir, taking your valuable time and sharing the messages with us in this time also. You are just taking the time and sharing with us. Really, it is 11 o'clock there. Normally people will sleep, but you are sharing the knowledge with us. Really, we are very, very, very thankful for you.
And
I just want to mention that for our people.
Yes,
because what is the interest in this age also? What is this passion? What is this interest? And educating people across the world. He is not doing it for. He told just now. He told I'm a good network marketer, but I want to share this information, this knowledge to all.
Yes.
At 11 o'clock, he is sitting and giving the webinar meeting for us. Really, we should thank him.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And also one more information by another 15 days. Okay, that is not for the next week. So the next week, leave the 1 week, and then next week Tuesday we are having another Richard sir meeting by the same time. Okay, so we will be ready for that. So the next Tuesday is not available. The coming next Tuesday we are having English webinar with Richard sir. Okay, let me see. We will give the information to everyone in prayer so that we will enjoy. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, leaders.
Kumarasamy.
right, sir. Onilla. Sir.
Okay.
And thank you for the Richard, sir.
Yes, sir. You can.
Richard.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, Richard, sir. Sharing your the valuable
Yes, sir.
presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Almost she is gone. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Annie, ma'am. Thank you. Richard, sir. Thank you. And Sariguna Veni from Karnataka, Malaysia, sir. Govind, sir. Everyone. So let me connect by tomorrow evening 5:30 to our session in Malayalam maximum. I will give information. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome. Bye, everyone. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Annie, ma'am. Thank you.